So, sorry, we're having little technical difficulties. Who are you? What do you do?
So I'm Paul Yuknewicz. I'm a program manager on the VB team. My email address is Paul Yuck, which I guess was the first prank played on me, thanks to my email address.
Yeah, everybody knows you as Paul Yuck, so
that's right.
Not necessarily a good thing, but...
Great. Yeah, I've worked on things. Right now I'm working on the business side of things for VB adoption.
Yeah.
Before that I worked on Express and data features and web features and hopefully
touched
a lot of
all
things,
parts of Visual Studio.
hopefully things that somebody's using right now. So.
Yeah, exactly. So we're here talking about people like classic pranks at Microsoft. You know, we're a prank-filled culture. So
yep.
I know you had some good stories about when you originally joined the company. So why don't you?
Right. So the first story I'll tell you is actually a prank that was played on me, which kind of incited my need to prank other people. So when I first started in about 2000, picture this. You know, I was college hire, really wanted to do the right thing, and my boss was just the ultimate prankster.
Oh, really?
So he finally decided that he'd let me go on one of these conference business trips.
Right.
So I was pretty excited about it. I went unchaperoned, definitely pretty risky, and so we were in San Francisco. We did the whole day's worth of events, and it was time to unwind and party a little bit with the customers and other people we knew. And
right.
You know, hilarity ensued, and all kinds of things happened. So
yada yada yada.
Long story short, you know, there was a kind of an end-up party in my hotel room. You know, nothing really bad happened, but it was pretty wild, and some people were sick, and some people were missing, and just things like that. You know, several people missed their flights, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So word got back to Redmond.
Work hard, play hard.
Yep, exactly. So word got back to Redmond that, you know, some partying had happened, and, you know, I figured that was just sort of par for the course. So when I got back, it was about, I don't know, maybe a day or two after we got back from this conference, I see this email kind of appear in my inbox from my manager saying, "Come into my office the second you see this."
Oh my God.
And it's had this kind of bad, numb feeling in my stomach. It's like, uh-oh. Then I see this attachment, double click it, and it's this PDF file. And it's actually like the invoice you see from a hotel.
Oh,
it says,
no way.
In cases where there's been extreme amounts of damage to a hotel room, it's our policy to bring in, you know, Microsoft management to review what happened, review the damage and the course of action. And I was reading through this, and I saw the bottom line, which was several thousands worth of dollars, you know, several thousand dollars worth of damage. And there's light items for, you know, hotel out of room for 1 week, you know, X dollars.
Right.
Route scrubbing, $500. And the list just went on. It's like, this is unbelievable. And I had to think about, it's like, is this real? Is this not real? There's just no way to know.
Right.
And I was just like, uh-oh, so I'm in the hot seat. So there I was, you know, kind of sulking, thinking that this was the end.
Beating heart, all stressed.
You know, I made that kind of last walk down the
right.
hallway to my manager's
Dead
office.
man walking?
Sat in the chair, and, you know, he basically just lit into me for about a half hour, just about what I did, you know, how could this possibly happen, what's he going to tell his managers, that kind of a thing.
Right.
And it just went on, and at that point, you know, I was just thinking about, you know, what's my next step? Am I going to flip burgers?
Right.
How am I going to get back to home? That kind of a thing. And then, you know, so I went back to my office, because he basically told me to get lost. And so I sat in my office, and I stewed pretty much the whole day.
Right.
Thinking about what was going to happen. And then there's just this eruption of laughter from down the hallway. And it turns out that everybody else knew I was in on the prank and I wasn't.
Oh, so, painful.
Yeah, that was really painful. So anyway, that kind of...
that kind of burned into your memory.
That traumatic experience has burned me, and it's basically been my mission in life. Get him back.
Yeah, so that's one of the other classic things, is there's always kind of a history of somebody getting and then paying back. So why don't you tell us something you've done to pay him back? Or
I have to, you know, to his credit, I haven't really topped him yet.
Right.
But there's been some good things that have happened. So one thing that I know he loves is this kind of couch he got in his office. He went and, you know, I don't know whether it was a yard sale or something, but he got this great used couch, totally fit in his office, and he was so proud of it. You know, every day he had a smile on his face when he was sitting on that couch.
Right.
And kind of like he went on some business trip, and, you know, I was thinking, there's an opportunity here. He loves this couch. He's gone there's time to mess with them. And so we went through a gamut of ideas. You know, could we do something to the couch? Could we make it disappear? Could we move it across campus? Could we do something? And then we had kind of an even more brilliant idea, which is just, well, let's just create a story that he's actually going to lose his office. And whatever new office he has, there's no way he can have a couch. It's totally going to stink.
Oh, no.
And so we brought in, you know, several other people, like the admins of the floor and the other group managers, kind of all of his peers, so that everybody was in on this same story. And the thing that we came up with is, hey, there's going to be this group of 6 interns who are coming in this summer, and you're the only one who's got a big office. The group managers are the only folks with big offices, so we need the interns to sit there.
Ouch.
Right, and the admin was extra clever, and she said, well, we want this to be very democratic and fair, so what we're going to do is go down the list of seniority. Whoever kind of has the least seniority is going to give up their offices to interns. Everybody knows he was kind of the least, tenure-wise senior. So, so basically, this mail gets crafted and it goes out to him, overseas, and within seconds, this mail comes back with swearing and expletives, what the heck is going on? Everybody knows me. This isn't fair.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then, he started kind of probing around to see what was wrong, and he talked to all the different group managers, and they're like, yeah, this really seems like the most fair thing. I've already lost my office, that kind of thing. And he's just, so mad, and, I think he went through the gamut of emotions, and he came back here to Redmond, and there was moving boxes outside of his office, and all these things was telling him it's time to lose it. And we actually caught him, can't really do it in front of the camera, but we actually caught him in the office, in his new office, pacing.
To measure
to see
whether his couch
a possibility for putting this couch in.
Yeah.
And
that's great.
We let him stew for a while, and eventually we told him that he didn't lose his office. So.
Oh, wonderful.
So that was one of the better pranks we pulled on.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one.
It's a pretty good one.
Any other prank that you know, or you've either been accomplices on, or other ones?
There's definitely been some, a common thing is to, you come back to your office, and there's just this email written that you, never should send.
Right.
And, there's people on the to list that you really, really shouldn't send stuff to, so that's I've seen that happen to me a bunch of times, so now we all did that, Windows key L and lock things up.
Yeah, make sure to lock your PC. There's certain...
So...
Any ones that you can talk about,
crazy.
Or putting VB on Linux or anything, or...
No, none that I can talk about. The thing about a different subject, so...
For what you can talk about.
It's all revolving around the same guy. So... The same guy, who's kind of a prankster, and another friend of mine, were at kind of another ship party, and this is a really cool kind of ship party back in the day, where actually go-karts were rented for people to use, and you could actually race around in the Microsoft parking lots, kind of in a well-condoned area, so definitely cool. So these two guys had in their mind, it's okay, we're going to hit the third lap, and we're going to go.
And just keep going. So... the time came where, they got to the third lap, and one of them was just let's go! And he veered off, and the other guy's well, I guess I'll do it. So the two go-karts, left out of the parking lot and just started driving down the streets of Redmond. Oh my god, that is hilarious.
And, everybody couldn't believe it, especially the insurers, the people running the event.
Exactly.
They just didn't know what hit them. It's they never even thought of something like that happening.
Some people would just gank their go-karts.
And so I think they kind of came to their senses and realized, hey, we might have a problem, driving go-karts that aren't ours, down the streets of Redmond. So they came back to the party pretty quickly and just kind of parked the cars in the middle.
Right.
And they booked off. And then unfortunately somebody else was oh, cool, a go-kart. They sat in there. And then the folks who were kind of running the go-kart event came by and kind of busted that guy who just sat in the seat. He's what are you doing?
Oh, no, yeah. You're the guy who took the go-karts.
And they were long gone. So.
Right, exactly. So did you guys ever send any email pranking them, saying Redmond police or anything?
Oh, that would have been a good idea. So I'm kind of wiser in my years now. So anything that's left out there is kind of good opportunity to prank.
It's a good opportunity, exactly.
So I think those are the best ones I can think of.
All right, cool. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dan. See ya.